concept of momentum and shot speed or velocity. And so to start with, let's calibrate your shot speed. And to do that, we're going to call a trip of the cue ball down to the end and back to that, well, let's say back to this spot is a 1. And then if you hit it down and back to this spot, that's a 2. Okay, that would be a 2, anything within the diamond of that spot. And when you shoot that and you come back and come off the rail to here, that's a 3. Okay, and this is a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you have these different shot speeds. And one of the things you're going to find, and this is taught by every good teacher, is that you have a shot speed that you should be doing most of the time, 60, 70%. And that's somewhere near 60, 70% of the time, it's somewhere near 30 or 40% of your capability. In other words, you're never overhitting the ball. If you watch a lot of the APA 5s, they're just slamming into the ball every time. They're hitting it too hard on almost every single shot, especially the young swaggering men, right? Yeah. And if you watch every, let's say APA 7, they're just softly moving the ball around the table with a medium speed hit. And that's what we want to achieve. But to do that, you have to calibrate yourself. So let's do a 1. And I tend to do this, I don't have a set way of doing this. So you'll have to remember, because sometimes I call this a 1, but for you I'm going to call this a 1. So I'd like you to hit it down and come back to here, and and if it's within these diamonds, you've achieved it. And that's a 1. Okay, that's way too hard.
It is?
Yep.
Okay.
See, it's coming way past that
Yes.
point.
Yes.
So we need to back off a little bit.
Okay.
I'm telling you, your stroke looks great.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Your bridge is good, your grip is good, your foot spacing. I like the way you're holding your back leg straight and your front leg is flexed a little bit. Okay, so you made that, that's a 1. Now we're going to do a 2, which is to come, that's a lag. Okay, you didn't go through your whole shot process there. Even when you're doing something like this where you're not hitting an object at all, you need to go through the whole thing.
I do?
The foot placement, the standing back,
the walking into it.
the
And
looking at your target, all that stuff you should be doing on every shot you ever do for the rest of your life.
oh my gosh. So just to,
The-
the thing is as I watch you guys, I don't see anybody doing this big giant shot presses that I'm doing.
But you're not Ryan Hope.
But at some point will
You're
will
not
it either
them.
get faster
There
or
will
what?
come a time when you'll be able to do this. You know, if you watch Earl Strickland, he's walking around the table like,
Yeah.
he goes, boom. But he's doing everything, but he's doing
Okay,
it
that's what I want.
at light speed compared to what you're capable. But at some point in his life, he had to have trained himself to do that. And that's the point that we're at with you,
Yes.
is we're training your brain. And then, like, you know, the little thing I do where I tell the beginner to shuffle up to the thing like this.
Yeah.
Well, they're not going to have to do that forever, but they're going to do it to set the right distance here. And then after a while, they'll go like this, and they'll do what all the rest of the players do, and they'll come down and they'll have that foot the right distance.
Okay.
But you have to go through that process, and when you're training, you should be going through that process all the time.
Okay. All right.
Pretty close, you got it. Okay, now we do a 4 to there. And we're going to work our way up to the maximum speed you should ever do.
And a 4 is where is a 4 again?
that would be here.
Okay, you want me to go to there?
Yeah. Perfect. Now we're going to do a 5, which is to come to there.
Oh, I can't believe that. Okay.
Yeah, you're doing great. That's going to be good.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Go a little farther.
A little bit short. Just need a little more oomph.
Oh, no.
A little bit hard.
Oh, I think that was too hard, too.
That's just right. You made it into the diamonds. Now, where were we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're going all the way back to that rail. Or double lag, I guess.
No, it's going to be slow.
Okay, you need to go quite a bit harder.
Ooh, that had a little spin on it.
The harder you hit it, the more of this transferred or the inappropriate English you're going to get. And that's what you did there. You hit the left side of the cue ball. Okay, let's do that again because you're consistently hitting the left side of the cue ball now.
I am. Okay.
Now, you achieved your goal, but I want you to keep at this speed. At this speed is when we start to see our stroke flaws.
Yes.
You don't see the stroke flaw when you're stroking softly, but as soon as you start stroking hard, then whatever muscles you have inappropriately involved are showing themselves.
Okay.
And that means getting that lower arm on a string. Let's try that again. This is the speed where we're seeing your stroke flaw, and I want you to freeze at the end of your stroke. That was better,
Probably a little slower.
but you didn't quite make it, so let's try it again.
I still have to harder. It's coming up.
Okay, I'm going to have to video you because you're not going to freeze for long enough.
Melted too.
Let's take a look at it and see if we can see what's going on here. I thought I knew what was going on, but... Oh, right there, see that motion? Your lower arm is coming out. So you're using the muscles of your lower arm at about halfway through your swing.
Okay.
And so what we need to
Okay.
concentrate on is this limp.
I must be gripping.
Absolutely, think of this as being a fishing line hanging here with a bait hanging off it. You don't fish, do you?
No,
Okay.
I don't. I have fished, but I've never been taught to fish or anything. Alright, so I gotta think about that.
Okay. Limp lower arm. That lower arm is doing nothing except making sure you don't drop the cue stick.
Right.
Okay, you were aimed off all the way there. Yep.
Wonderful. Okay.
You were aimed left all the way. So that wasn't because of the crooked stroke. That was because of alignment. Now you're aligned properly. Now you need that limp lower arm. You hit the left side again.
It's gotta have some move. Okay.
See, this is when it shows up. You were aimed out all the way there.
Left?
Yep, you were aimed right here the whole time. But we want to stay at this speed now. We found where you fall off the edge of the cliff. Okay, so you had no spin on it, but you were pointed off the whole time. Let's talk about that. proper speed, and this is from a crazy man named Bert Kinister, who is the best teacher I've ever experienced. I paid him like $36 a month, I think it was, for a couple of years so that I could watch all of his 120 videos or whatever. But this is known as Bert Kinister shot number 1. And what you're doing is you're shooting that ball at this ball and stopping it, except for the fact that when it stops, it takes one more part of a revolution and it ends up replacing the spot where this ball was.
Okay.
That's Bert Kinister number 1. There are lots of people who, when they're getting ready for a tournament, only do Bert Kinister shot number 1 because that tells them the speed that they should always be shooting every shot that they do on the pool table. So what you want to do is shoot a stop shot at this, but shoot it at a speed that will make the ball and then replace this ball. And you're not probably going to be able to do this. I probably can't do it without about 10 tries. I'm going to try to calibrate myself and do this shot. And you can see how hard it is for me. Probably. Actually, let's do it on this side of the table. And if you want to have some real fun, look Bert Kinister up on YouTube.
With a K?
Yeah, Kinister, B-E-R-T. So we're putting this at the second diamond and that at the second diamond. And you can do this on your home table and it'll be easier. But the idea is I'm going to shoot that shot in, and I'm going to try to stop the ball, but then have it roll forward a part of a revolution. See, I completely missed it. It's a hard shot to control all that. Okay, that's getting close.
Very close.
But it didn't roll forward, so I need to slow it down a little bit. But once you get this calibrated, there it is. That's the shot. It took me 7 or 8 tries to finally calibrate my brain. And I'm not aiming at anything or doing anything. I'm letting my body try to do that shot until it figures it out. I'm fully aware that this is probably a difficult shot for Robin to negotiate at this stage, but it is something that she can think about in regards to calibration and something she can try every once in a while. Every couple of weeks, if you're a beginning pool player who's progressing, try this shot out, and at some point you'll surprise yourself and you'll make it in a surprisingly short amount of time or a short amount of efforts. It's something to use as a goal to be able to do that at some point, but it also identifies a moderate speed that you can use on the table to do many of your shots so that you are overcoming any deformations in the table or anything like that. You want to shoot it at a crisp speed if you can. You can't always shoot shots at a crisp speed. Sometimes you need to shoot them softly, or sometimes you need to shoot them harder, although shooting them real hard is a mistake most of the time. So that speed right there, if you have a shot like this, this is the speed you want to make this shot at. So I'm going to try and get
that speed that was right here on the table.
I'm going to try and get on that ball next, and I'm going to use that speed to do it. Okay, or that was actually a little bit slower, but the point is made that you want something like that. Or I want to get on this ball, so I'm going to use that speed. And so that's my medium speed for every shot on the table. And then from there I can calibrate it up or down based on the exact position I need to get. So then I get to this shot, and I'm still going to shoot that at the speed that I calibrated myself to right here. So that's why we're working on all this. You can try this shot. Try it at home. I'm not going to stand here and make you shoot such a difficult shot.
Okay.
But this is what you need to do for the training part of it. So this week, I would say, if you're going to do an hour a day, take 5 minutes of it and just calibrate your speed with this shot. So let's go back to number 6.
Okay, you want me to do this one again? The 6?
Yeah, try for a 6. And get that lower arm loose. But one of the things is okay, don't move at all. Okay, right now you're aimed about 2 inches to the left of the chalk. Huh?
I see it.
Okay. Your stick is aimed right here, right now.
Okay.
So I think you need to stand back further to get started. Right now you're going like this, but I think you need to be back here to find that line.
Okay.
And when you're back here, you're thinking about your foot placement and you're doing this back and forth. And again, you're going to have to do it slower. You can look at the professional players and the good local players, and they're not doing this, but you have to do it because you're learning how to get that alignment. Because if Ryan walks up to this shot and comes down on it, and I take a picture of him, his stick's going to be perfectly straight at that thing, and yours isn't. So you have to start to train your brain to be able to do that, and that means starting all the way back here, not here. It's hard to get the line from here. But from back here, it's like the gun sight thing. You can line it up and then walk into it and keep your head on it. Here we see an example of Ryan Hogan's coming up to a shot. It's a long shot at the 3 ball. And watch him stand back and get the line. Stand back away from the table, get the line, and then move straight into it. That's what I'm encouraging Robin to do. And here we have another example. This one happens to be Fedor Gorst, world champion 9-ball player. You see how he backs up, gets the line, and then comes down on the shot. And Fedor has an advantage that he can actually see that line from his normal standing position because his feet are further back from the table than most players. He's rather tall, but he also puts his chin way back behind the joint on his cue. He's operating from the back of the cue. That gives him a longer sight line. The longer the sight line, the better you're going to be able to find that line. So I think if there's anything that I've watched you do,
you're right.
Especially when you're playing, it's that you're trying to get your alignment from standing too close to the balls.
There's where is that more straight?
Go ahead and shoot. Yes, it was more straight. That time you hit it on the left side of the cue ball. You see the difference?
Yeah.
When you're hitting out of alignment, watch the spots on the cue ball. When you're hitting out of alignment, it'll be rolling end over end like that, but it'll go off to the left. When you're hitting with spin, you'll see these dots spinning sideways like that. And that's what makes it come. Either one will make it come to the left. But you need to be able to diagnose it when you take a shot. Is my alignment off? Alignment's off. See, it's rolling straight end over end. Or did I add inadvertent spin? Then you can do that like that. So in that case, you added spin, but your alignment was good. Okay, try getting back on it again.
Let me see it a lot better back. Might have something to do with my eyesight too.
There, you got it in.
Yeah.
At the last moment, you brought it in the line. That's much better.
Way better, even though it's not going to make me.
That's okay. We're training your brain. Do it one more time and get the right speed.
I needed to, this was really important for me. I needed to understand how coming back, far back was was
Yeah,
gonna make a
but
difference.
here's the other thing that happens. You are a human being, and therefore you can process about 14 bits of information per second. And when you have to think about two things, you're really screwed, because human beings really aren't capable of thinking of two things at once. So if you give me this shot right here, I can make that probably 10 times out of 10. But if you tell me I need to make that shot and I need to get on this ball, all of a sudden I'm going to make that 5 times out of 10 maybe. Because now I'm trying to do something with the cue ball in addition to making that ball. If all I have to think about is making that ball, then I can make it every time, every single time.
Yes.
But if I have to think about getting on that ball, now I'm going to put some right English on it, I'm going to do this, I'm going to hit it harder than my normal shot speed, and all of a sudden I miss the shot, and I end up beautifully coming up table and getting on that ball. And what happened when we were working on our speed control, what happened is, as you got to a number 6, you were okay up to a number 4 or 5.
Yeah.
As you got to a number 6, your concentration on getting the speed did not allow you to concentrate on getting your line. So you have to be able to do more than one thing. And as soon as you start concentrating on only one thing, then the other things depart you. And the reason for the repeated training, and the reason in order to achieve the goals that we've been talking about, you're going to have to spend an hour or 2 a day at home just doing it. And it really helps, like with exercise. People that do really well, they do it at a certain time of the day, and they know I'm setting that time of day aside. Maybe for you it's morning, maybe for you it's evening. It depends on your family and your kids and your, lifestyle. But you have to do this stuff over and over and over again. So let's do a 6 again. And that's the fundamental failure mode. Now you got it. Now you're on it perfectly.
Yeah. It was huge.
Isn't that beautiful? Doesn't that feel good?
Yeah, because it wasn't making sense in my brain why I needed to come back so far, because I could see it just as clearly from here, it felt like.
And this is fundamentally why the Burt Kinister shot is such a great training tool, and it's so difficult, because I have to not only think about pocketing that ball, I have to think about the cue ball being sliding when it gets here. Mm-hmm. And I not only have to think about that, but I have to think about it being at the end of its slide, so just that far away from the ball it starts to roll forward, so it's only rolling far enough to get to this point and not rolling all the way up here. And you can vary this shot by following that ball into the pocket, by stopping it completely, or stopping it with that little teeny bit of revolution, or following it into the pocket, or drawing it back to the end route, which is real hard for me to do. The difficulty is in doing 3 or 4 having to accomplish 3 or 4 things at once. So why are we talking about this speed control? Because it goes to everything about how you're getting position on the table. So if I want to pocket this ball, I can shoot it with low, middle, or high. And in every single case, because I'm shooting straight at it, that ball's going to stop completely. That ball stopped completely and then rolled forward slightly. Every single time, it's going to transfer 100% of its energy to that ball. And if it happens to have overspin, it's going to stop, and it's going to be spinning like this, and then it's going to follow. And I'm going to find a video for you when you're practicing and show this to you, that it always stops 100%. If it has backspin, it stops 100% on a straight-in shot, stops, and then the backspin friction causes it to start rolling backwards. Dr. Dave demonstrates this with a low shot here. You can see the ball come to a complete stop and then it starts rolling backward. If it has top spin on it, it does not keep rolling. It stops 100% and then starts to spin forward. Again, from Dr. Dave's site, we see a cue ball hit high, comes to a complete stop when it hits the object ball, and then the roll causes it to spin forward again because of the friction with the cloth. That's because 100% of the momentum has been removed to this ball and transferred to this ball, and the only thing that's left is the friction of the spin. Now, if I put an angle like this, where I'm shooting at 90% of the ball instead of 100%, now 90% of its energy is going to get transferred to that ball. And 10% is going to be retained in a sideways move, the 90 degrees.
Yes.
If there's roll on the ball, it'll go 90 degrees and then start to roll forward to 30 degrees. If I shoot a half ball hit from here, so the center of the cue ball is going to hit there, now it retains 50% of the energy. And so I can hit it, let's say I'm going to do a half ball hit here. If I hit in the center of the ball, 50% of the energy is retained. So if I shoot that shot at the same speed, the cue ball rolled right here, right? If I shoot that shot at the same speed, instead of just rolling this far, it rolled this far and this far. That's twice as far.
Right.
Because 50% was removed when I shot that ball in.
Yes.
So then the difficulty that most APA 3s have is they come to a shot like this. Let's say like this. And they have this shot next. You go, okay, how hard do I have to hit that? Well, 90% of the time they'll go like that, and they end up way short. What they don't realize is that...
Why did you hit that one with underspin?
I just poked at it, I don't know. But let's say I'm hitting 7/8 of that ball right now, right? If I want to get it over here, I have to hit it 8 times harder than I do, than I would if I just do this. So I can shoot this hard and get over here to make this ball, right?
Right.
But when this ball is in between, and I'm hitting only 80% of the ball, I have to hit it 8 times harder to do that. 8 times harder. So that's like this. I hit the corner of the pocket, but I'm just going to make it a little easier on myself. So I have to shoot this 8 times harder. So I've got this. That's how hard I'm shooting to get over there. And now with that ball in between, I have to hit it 8 times harder. Keep hitting the corner. See how hard I hit that?
Yes.
This is happening on every single shot where you ever contact a ball. So now if I have a real thin cut, I can go back to shooting that really soft, and the cue ball will run a long ways. So that thing was still rolling like crazy when I hit that pocket. So this speed control is everything about, if I have this shot right here, that's a half ball hit. So I know when I hit that ball, about half the energy is going to be dissipated. I know also that that ball is going to go off at that angle, right? 30-degree angle.
Right.
So it's going to come here, here, and here. Well, what if I try to shoot that and get that ball over there? How hard do I have to hit it? About that hard. But I have to hit it twice as hard after I hit that ball to achieve the same thing. So I have to hit it twice as hard to go the same distance. And again, I'm not trying to control the direction very well. So what are the things that come into play when you're trying to get position, when you're playing 9-ball or 8-ball? Are how hard are you hitting the ball?
Mm-hmm.
How much energy is being removed?
Yes.
Which part of the pocket are you aiming for? That's cheating the pocket. And is it going to follow the 30-degree rule if I'm hitting with a rolling ball, or is it going to follow the 90-degree rule with a sliding ball, or is it going to be greater than 90 degrees with drawing? But the point is that, so speed, momentum, how much momentum is being removed,
yes.
and that causes you to have to adjust your speed. Whether or not you're cheating the pocket, like this shot right here where we're going straight at it, stopping here, or we're going in that direction or that direction. 30-degree rule, 90-degree rule, you've got everything you need to move up without using any English at all.
Right.
So that's where we're at right now.
Okay.
And let's start out just shooting that ball in the pocket and getting a feel for walking through the whole process.
So I'm going to shoot it from here?
Yep.
From back
Is that
here?
okay?
Can I reach that
Can you
far?
reach that okay?
I think I probably can, yeah.
Well, let's move it back.
Okay.
Make the shot a little bit harder.
And am I gonna try to stop it the way,
No, you're just going to try and pocket it now.
I'm gonna try to shoot it in that corner?
Yeah. We did this one other time
Yep.
where we worked on understanding what features of the position of this ball you're inputting into your subconscious.
Yes.
And then where the contact point is.
Right.
And then walking over with that contact point and standing back on that line and coming in and shooting this shot and getting a feel for what it feels like to shoot that shot. Just like I did when I was doing the Burt Kinister thing. I worked my way towards a feeling that I had to have.
Ooh,
Okay, that was pretty good.
I know, I was like, that should have gone in.
So we want to go to our pocketing speed, which is going to be something like a 4 or a 5 on what we were working on.
Okay.
So that means if you were to aim straight at this rail, it would go down and back to about where it is. That's a reasonable pocketing speed. So that means it's going to go half that distance, because you're doing about a half ball hit here. A little more than a half ball hit. Okay?
That was too much.
So you're hitting a little bit full.
Yeah, that was too much.
Okay, what are you thinking about when you're looking at this ball?
I am thinking about just my line from here to the back end of that ball, and I'm thinking a little bit about where the ghost ball would be.
Okay, let's come over here, and this is something that Nick Varner
Okay.
talks about, and I spent some time with him, and he told me this is the most important thing that he does during the shot process. And it's something that you've incorporated early on, but that is to get this line right here, but it's not a line that you're getting, it is a point on that ball that you're trying to perceive. And for me, I go through the process of looking at the top of the ball and seeing how I want it to roll when it goes in, and what the point is that I have to hit. So I have to hit that point right there to make it in the center of the pocket, right?
Yes.
Okay. As I come over here, I'm keeping that in mind, that if this ball's going to go in, I looked at it and I saw that the top of the ball is right next to this circle right here. And so from there, if you stand there and look at it, it's going to roll like this, right? End over end. And if I put it in the same position, if I'm walking over there, I'm picturing how that ball is going to roll end over end and holding that image in my mind. So try that. You see this point, but you also see how this ball is going to roll, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you were to poke it right now, it's going to roll right end over end.
Yeah.
Okay, if this is in the center, that helps you out. You can see that that dot, the center of that circle, is going to roll right end over end. Now walk over that way and try and keep that picture in your mind of that thing rolling end over end.
Oh, yeah.
And now come down on the ball, find your line, and come down on the ball and make it roll end over end. And you're picturing the point that you have to hit to do that. It's a picture in your brain.
Oh, right. Okay, wait. Okay, this is
Yeah.
a little different for me, so here we go. Okay, so. Ooh, did I overcut it? Undercut it? I undercut it.
You undercut it, yeah.
Yes. Okay, which makes sense because I was thinking, I was second guessing the.
Okay? Get the picture in your brain of where the spot is that you have to hit that and how this ball has to roll. And I'm going to do this. I'm going to put that spot right there like that, and I'm going to put a ghost ball there. Like that. Okay, that's the ghost ball position. So come on over here, and you can see the ghost ball position is right in the middle of that, right? Okay, and that will have to roll end over end in order to go into the pocket. So you're going to be rolling this thing like that to get it into the pocket, right?
Right.
So I want you to carry that image over to your shot line. Now, the image should be that when that cue ball gets there, it's going to be right there on that position. And that, as we said before, is a mirror image of this. So that means that this point on the cue ball is going to hit this point, and they're going to be an exact mirror image of each other. Now let's do it with the stripe being your indicator. Now, when you walk over here, you're seeing that the center of that stripe is where your contact point is, right?
Yep.
And that stripe is going to have to roll straight end over end to get in here. So when you go over there, you're carrying that image. And this picture of this ball has a dot on it right here in your brain that tells you where the dot is on the back side of that cue ball that has to meet this. And it's an exact mirror image, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now let's try it. Now when you walk over and you look at that line, what do you see? Well, the top of this, the center between that line and this line, that's got to roll straight end over end, doesn't it? So now you're going to carry that picture in your mind of where the point is, that you would have to hit that to do that, and where that point is on the reverse side of the cue ball. It's right here, right?
Right.
So that ball has to meet this ball like that and send it end over end like that.
No, but I missed it.
Now this time you were overcompensated the whole time. Your stick
I
was
was?
way over, and it's because I think you didn't have as good an indicator this time.
Probably not. I did not have as good of an
Now
indicator.
before we had a nice
Yes.
indicator or a nice indicator. Now we have a less
That's why
certain
solids
indicator.
are so hard sometimes. And stripes too. They can turn, when I go to a different point, sometimes they,
So this is the spot, right? It's right in the middle of that
yeah.
stripe. But as you walk over there, it's going to look a little different. And as you walk over there, you're going to come in here and picture, well, where is that? It's right. Why isn't that coming off? There we go. It's right there on that ball, right? So if you come over here and look, if I look at this and then I come over here, that's going to be this spot on the cue ball, right?
Yeah.
Those two spots, if they come together, put the ball into the pocket.
Right.
So you're always picturing from the image that you have of this, where on the back of the cue ball it would have to hit is right there. And you can see that from this side.
Uh-huh.
So I know that there's like an eighth of that ball showing, right?
Yes.
So I come here and I look and I need an eighth of this ball to run into that spot.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a mirror image. On the back side of the cue ball is a mirror image. And you're going to see this. I did an illustration. I got to tell you a tragedy that happened to me. I have a two 16 terabyte hard drives.
Oh no, yeah, you told me.
And I did this long video of you.
Yeah.
And we went through all this stuff over on that table one day. And I got done and I was finally rendering the video into one I was going to upload, and the box fell off a shelf while I was doing it. And I sent it off to a rescue company and they sent me back and said it can't be rescued.
No!
So that video and all of the stuff from the big event is gone forever, they say.
No.
Yeah. So I can't finish all those videos. But I did have the raw footage of you that day, and I'm working on that now. I should have it up tomorrow.
That is so hard to believe that.
But you remember we went through all this?
Oh yeah.
And I made one, I think is a pretty cool video that shows this concept. But this is what you're picturing, and this is why you don't do this business of doing some tricky method of aiming, because you have it written right on this ball exactly where the backside of that cue ball has to hit this thing. So if you can picture that, you're way ahead of the game. So when you have a quarter ball hit, the point that you're hitting is halfway between the edge of the cue ball and the edge of the object ball, and it makes a mirror image. It's actually a flipped over mirror image because this is on the front side of the 8 ball here and this is on the back side of the cue ball, but they meet in an exact mirror image. And it doesn't matter what level you're hitting. With a half ball hit, it's the same thing. It's a mirror image. And finally, for a 3/4 ball hit, it's also a mirror image. So this is the picture that I like to have people develop in their minds, is that of the point that they're meeting being halfway and being a mirror image on each of these balls. You're picturing what they're going to look like when they meet. Yes. And we're doing that process on every shot we ever take for the rest of our lives.
It's amazing.
Okay, so let's do that again. I don't like putting these stickies on the ball though, because it's going to leave some sticky. Okay, now you have a new picture. And this time you're hitting the ball right there, right? So you remember that as you're walking over there, what point you have to hit. And then you line up the cue balls, so the corresponding point on the back side of the cue ball is going to hit that spot.
Oh, I missed it.
It's okay.
Totally missed
It gets harder and harder, especially when you use a solid, because you don't have these little indicators.
Yes.
But I think it's important to use these indicators. But the main thing you're remembering is where that point is that you have to hit, and then what the cue ball is going to look like if it hits that point. It's going to be a ghost ball. So this time we're going to get you in alignment, ready to shoot, and then I'm going to place the ghost ball, and you can ask yourself if you're lined up right or not. Let me know when you're ready.
Oh, yeah, it's a tricky, yeah.
Okay, now I'm putting the ghost ball there. Does that look right? No? Right, like that.
Yes.
Okay.
I wonder if I hit it. It did look right. I wonder if I was off. My angle was off. Right?
It could be your alignment's off, because we already know that you still have some alignment issues, but you're shooting at a speed where that shouldn't come into play.
Okay.
Just try a few shots now. And I would set this drill up at home. And
Yeah,
just shoot
I
it,
did.
shoot it, and shoot it.
I did, yes.
And try and walk through that process of picturing. Visualization is the single most important thing in pool. And it's not just visualizing this. It's visualizing the whole shot, where that cue ball is going to end up and what your next shot is going to look like. You're going to get in. Here's the thing that, because I've been in so many different fields of endeavor in my life, that when you're first involved in it, the whole thing seems like a jumble, and then things slowly fall together.
Yeah.
And all this stuff is going to become completely natural for you to visualize these balls, the relative position of these balls.
It's the same thing with gymnastics and the
Yes.
flipping and the spotting
Yeah.
and the bars. Like, you know,
At first it seems impossible.
it really feels it has
Yeah.
felt impossible to me, but it'd be the same thing in knowing where to reach and grab.
Yeah, that's what you're doing, is going through this process of training your brain to just visualize it and see it. Okay, and then you can change the shot.
Now, what if I had a solid up there? Or did I do a solid yet?
And now we have a smaller pocket.
Yeah.
You know what people mean when they say a smaller pocket?
Do you have
If I were to take,
less room for error?
if I were to take a measuring device and I talk about the size of the opening of this pocket, it's about that long, right? If you're over here, now the size of the pocket is an inch longer.
Okay.
So the pocket's an inch wider from this direction than it is from this direction. But the other thing is that if you hit this rail, it'll still go in, depending on the angle that you hit it at. You can still get it to go in, and therefore this pocket, it looks narrower, but it's not that much narrower.
Yeah.
How that goes in there depends on whether it's spinning to the right or the left. When you cross that ball, it's going to cause it to be spinning like this. And it will go into this pocket easier, because if it's spinning like this, when it hits this face, it spins in. If it's spinning like this, when it hits that space, it spins out. like that. And that's why balls rattle in the pocket, because they're spinning the wrong way. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah. See that versus this. But this is a big deal.
It is a big, huge deal.
This is a big deal. If it's spinning outside like that, it holds up. And if it's spinning inside like this, it goes in. And I think you're thinking too much about English, by the way, to get to a 4.
Okay. Oh,
It's going to inhibit you. The more you use it, the more it's going to inhibit you from making the next notch.
So you just want me to make that shot in there?
Yep. And you're doing exactly the same thing. You're picturing, what is that ball? Where do I need to hit that ball? You need to hit it right there, right?
Yes.
So you're coming over here and you're picturing where that spot is. Then you're walking over there and you're carrying that spot in your brain.
I hit it too full. Oops.
No, you overcut it actually. Perfect. That was quite good. You had the wrong spin on it, that's all. But I don't want you to work on spin.
I don't like that.
Okay, are you going through the whole process? Coming over here,
The only thing I haven't been doing is going back.
looking at exactly the spot that you need to hit. Coming over here, seeing where that spot is, and then imagining on the back side of the cue ball where it has to hit that. It has to be right there, right? So that's the line. Something like that.
Hitting it, overcutting it.
Yep, every time. So let's just see. I want you to set up and I'm going to look at your alignment. A little bit outside.
I wonder if I'm hitting that.
And look, I have to hit it exactly right there. So I'm coming over and I'm picturing that spot. Now I'm seeing like an eclipse of the moon.
Yeah.
I want to eclipse that ball so that the backside of the cue ball hits exactly on that spot. So that's like this. And then I come down on it and I picture that. And I picture that and I'm going through my whole process. And then I'm slowly going to stroke the ball and make my stick on the table. So I would set this shot up at home and do it 50 times. And then when you get where you can make it every time, vary it.
Okay.
Give yourself a longer shot or a different angle. There you go. I don't want to cloud your brain with too much, but I want to try to get one more thing on it. I'm going to video you. Let's go through the same shot again.
So
Okay,
close.
let's look at your video.
Okay.
Now, you're using your right hand, which is your forward hand, to do all this alignment stuff. And then you're switching hands.
Yes, you've talked to
coming
me about
down
that
on it.
before.
And that whole process is causing you to get out of alignment.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're making it far more complicated than it would be if you just used your left
I
hand,
wonder if I...
your shooting hand.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
try it
That
again.
is so interesting.
Yeah, isn't it?
Yes, okay.
How much more complicated is that to change hands and maintain
Right.
the exact view, the image with your eyes? So you want to use that hand, come back, and get that hand in alignment.
It's a lot easier.
you know, half again is difficult. So that's the main thing. I'm going to send you this video just to remind you, okay?
Yeah.